actually almost 7:30, 7:25. Are there questions you have for me? It could be the tiniest neighborhood issue, but it's not tiny if you care about it. Or it could be a big city issue. You're not just waving, you want to ask a question, but it's nice to see you anyway. Please.
I have a question. If the city department, a lot of times, especially in planning, errors are committed in granting permitting. Would we come to your department to have these errors either rectified or have, I don't know what you can do about it, but in permitting, we have a situation in Kirkwood Bowl where 5 permits were issued for a street and 4 houses. All 4 permits were issued in error. Now, what recourse do we have? Because these errors are committed consistently and have been, it's endemic in the city government, at least in planning. Do we come to you, your office, to say, here's what we have, can we do something about fixing it?
So let me repeat the question so your neighbors heard it. What's your first name?
Skip.
So Skip's question is, I'll try to use your vocabulary. Skip says it's endemic in city government that permits are issued for some land use related matter in error, Skip said. And as a consequence, what should we be doing? To whom can you turn? Can you turn to us if such an error has been made? So generally not, because our office represents the department that has made the alleged error, right? And so our duty as a lawyer ethically is to our client. That doesn't mean, however, that you can't communicate with us about a problem, because there may be some way for us to make a suggestion for a change. But you would have probably already gone to the planning department or in that case. And well, my point is, if you have gone there and they said we're not going to change what we're doing, then my job is to find a way to represent them in the way that is best. But sometimes they may say, wow, we didn't know we made a mistake. So we have occasionally brought to the attention of other departments in the city a problem that they have unilaterally rectified, right? That could happen. But my strong recommendation is always go to the affected department before you turn to us, knowing, and look, it's obvious that since I've been other things for you, a legislator, a council member, you can imagine it is frustrating for me sometimes when I find myself in the position of representing a stance that I would not have voted for instance. But I have ethical obligations that transcend my personal beliefs, right? And as a lawyer for the city, that's my job. So I hope that's a clear answer to where the labor is.
But saying if we didn't get anything, say, from planning, we could come to you and say, here's the problem.
You would come to us saying there's a problem, but I can't guarantee I can fix it, because ultimately they are the client. I'm an advisor, but I'm not the decider on that issue.
But you might be able to steer us in a direction.
We might, but I won't be able to make suggestions for how you can litigate against my client. That I couldn't do.
Well, that.
Yeah, but good, very good question. Thank you. Yes.
Speaking of litigation,
yes.
Dangerous conditions. The city pays out millions of dollars a year in dangerous conditions. What kind of remedies does your office propose to be more proactive as opposed to reactive in settling of these lawsuits?
So tell me first name.
Carol.
Oh, Carol, of course. Hi, forgive me for not raising her hand. Yeah, so this is Carol. Have you met Carol? I'm your wingman. Have you met Carol? Good. So let me repeat Carol's question, which is a great question. Carol says there are dangerous conditions throughout the city, and I will elaborate. It could be a pothole or a broken sidewall or who knows what it is. And we pay out a lot of money when people are injured as a consequence of these conditions. So Carol says, wait a minute. Why, or what are you going to do? It's more of a challenge to me. What are you going to do in your office so that we're paying out less money when someone's been a victim and redirecting those resources to good services, right? That's your question. So it's a great question. I completely agree with you, and here's what we're doing. So I decided to change our office's relationship with the city on this issue. And so I've hired a terrific lawyer to be in charge of what's called risk management, which is a bureaucratic way of saying, let's try to prevent problems in the first place so we reduce the risk of residents to get injured and the city to pay out stuff. She's been terrific. Just getting rolling now. But here's what's happening. David's actually going to see this in the city council. Actually, we haven't made a presentation to you guys about this yet in any detail. But Carol gets a presentation right here. So here's the thing. We are going to form a team with the mayor and a few other key leaders in the city. And on a regular basis, the top dogs or their immediate subordinates are going to convene to talk about, use the word endemic problems in the city. And things just appear to be coming up again and again, and then challenge the 8 departments involved to do something about it. We're going to have a steering committee where anytime a problem comes in over $50,000, there's got to be a corrective action plan proposed along with the payout. So we rectify the problem and preempt another situation like it coming up. We're working now, our lawyer Kelly is her name. Kelly is working with each department to identify what the best way for us to be effective with them is. So for example, the police department, not a dangerous condition case, but different kind of thing, paid out in the 5 years before I took office, $31 million of your dollars as a result of employment-related issues, retaliation, that kind of stuff. $31 million, right? You know, a police officer, $150,000 each. Think how many police officers that is, right? So we're working with them to change supervisorial strategies and protocols and training as an example. So you hit on something I really care about. It's funny because in my office, people say, if you talk about this publicly, it's going to be boring to people. And some of you have found that to be true, I know that. But for others of you, this is where the action is, because instead of calling it risk management and having eyes glaze over, let's call it what it is. Would you rather have your scarce tax dollars being paid out to someone who got hurt? Or would you rather have those dollars go to more police officers in Laurel Canyon? That makes it more meaningful. Thank you. Yeah.
Just to piggyback off of Carol's question, I'm Tammy. Hi, everybody. I'm going to have a fundraiser for the By the Mountain, so if you get an email, please come. You don't have to donate, but bring a wildlife story. But I have a question about specifically about how the, as a relatable thing for me, as a property owner, what Carol said was, how are we going to be proactive in getting the departments to work together? My specific problem is the Appian Way issue, where the pole came in the road. I am a property owner downhill, and the road is coming down on to my property, and I have contacted the DWP about some things that they did, and I contacted a while back the council person's office, not with David Rubin, it was Tom Lavange, and they told me to contact the street services, which I have, and they put sandbags that fell right down on my property, and then the guardrail fell down on my property. Then more sand fell down when the Appian Way abyss opened up. And then I had the city geologist come down, and I have like all these fingers pointing. The DWP says, no, it's the city's responsibility. And then when the geological engineer came out, he said, well, all of this stuff is on your property, and you need to remove these guardrails. And you're not supposed to have a guardrail anyway, because Appian Way is a non-conforming.
It's a substandard street.
Substandard street, yeah. And so he gave me some sandbags, but everything I do on my property is holding up that hillside. And you can't see when you go around that big corner, and it's about 100 feet, you know, and, you know, I tell the UPS man, the fire people, don't come over on this side because there's a 3-story drop-off. And to be proactive about that, I've been trying to be proactive about that for years. I planted bamboo up there, I got bushes up there, I planted retaining walls.
I got it. So here's Tammy's, I didn't mean to cut you off, but just like for everybody benefits, so that's an important question. So I'm going to concisely describe Tammy's problem. Tammy says, I am one frustrated person. I have been, she didn't use those words, but I got it. So Tammy says, I have this property, and a guardrail fell down. It's dangerous up there. There's all kinds of other problems on Appian Way on the street. So I've talked to Water and Power. I've talked to street services. I've talked to engineering and others. And each of them says it's somebody else's problem, and some of them say it's my problem. And all I can tell you is it's frustrating for me as a homeowner. I'm trying to do what I think is the right thing, and I'm not getting what I need from city agencies. Is that right? Well, I'm your lawyer. Here we are. So I will speak not as the city attorney because my office is not, I don't have staff who can do what you're talking about. And I'm a little hesitant because David's right here, but I do think that the kind of resolution you need involves perhaps the council office or the mayor's office. You need somebody from the city to be the traffic cop, to be the organizer of this. Now it may be, I can't tell you, it could be that the city actually can't help you at all. I don't know. But I do know that it's someone else's thing, doesn't cut it for me. So I see David saying, let me give you my card because I want to talk to you through my staff.
already there.
Okay. So this is the seamless coordination between the city attorney and the city council that I've been talking about. So I got time for